All right, so we're going to continue on with this series that we've been covering for the last few weeks. We're back to the halfway. This is part three of a four-part series. Um, this is a series that we do to kind of reframe how you think about how you're approaching trading. This whole idea that you need to first learn how to do something and then go and try to do it um, can sometimes cause us to um, put off what's really going to help to move forward. And so one of the things that I realized when I realized that I was struggling or actually failing at trading, but I had always been so good at other things, so successful at other things in my life. And one of those, and the most obvious thing, was running small businesses. I had, construction businesses and hot tub businesses, and they were all very successful. And why is it I can't do the same? I can't replicate success with trading. And so then the answer came back to me, well, you're not trading like it's a business. And that made a lot of sense to me because there's a lot of qualities that you gain that we cover. Excuse me. Wow. A lot of qualities that we earn by being small business owners and qualities that we need for trading that small business owners have or acquire or earn over time. So we're going to continue on with this series, Trading as a Business. First thing I want to know is last week we talked about, setting up, creating a trading business, create something tangible. So I want to ask you, what did you guys come up with? What were some of the names that you came up with for your trading business? How are you now identifying yourself as a trading business? Did you guys work on that at all? Crickets. Okay. So I know some of you you already expressed the name of you've already done this, you've already created your trading. But if you want to, if this is going to make sense to you, this is going to, you're going to create something that's tangible, okay? And when you give something a name, that gives gives it that starts to become real, okay? So spend some time on that. Don't ignore this. This is a very important exercise if you really want to start approaching trading as a business. And I'm only telling you that this is what I've done, and this started turning everything around for me. This whole series, with this four-part series, has everything to do with reframing how you're approaching your trading. If you're still approaching it as something you're trying to learn how to do, you're likely to continue to struggle because you're just continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again. Whereas if you reapproach this whole thing, this whole trading thing, like it's your small business, you have a whole different perspective. And that's what it's all about, is changing your perspective. All right, so when I say run trading as a business, the first thing I think of, or that you should think of, is the last company that you worked for, maybe, or your last profession. And every job it's divided up into responsibilities. Each responsibility has, or each person in the company has different responsibilities, and that's really all they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to step on other people's responsibilities. They're not supposed to go hang out in another department and tell them how to do their job or to try to do their job for them. You've got these responsibilities that you've been given as part of your job description. So my question to you now then is, if I decided I wanted to quit trading and I wanted to focus more on education and building trading systems and all that, and so I didn't really want to trade anymore personally, but that I have a trade plan so ironclad that once it's been expired, they could easily execute that plan. So if I hired you to trade my account for me, based on the way that you trade now, would I be forced to fire you? That's kind of a sobering thought. I always wanted to be a good employee, but more importantly, I would be embarrassed and mortified, fired from a job simply because I couldn't follow instructions. It's one thing to get fired because you can't get along with somebody or you make a bad mistake or whatever, but get fired because you just can't follow very clear, concise instruction on what you're supposed to do. Okay? A trade plan is the same thing as a job description. You've got to execute that trade plan to the letter, and if not, you're going to get fired. So this is kind of the way I am turning things around for myself. I had a trade plan, but it was way easy for me to cheat that trade plan, to go outside of the trade plan, to take trades because I was because I'd just lost the last 2 or 3 trades that I wanted to make money back, to remove my stops so that I could, or move them down so that I could have more time to try to make my money back, to start adding more contracts to a trade so I could skip trades because I had already lost a bunch of money and I was scared on the next setup. So I didn't want to take it. So I was constantly breaking my own rules because I wasn't really accountable to anybody. But if you can be accountable, if you think about it as your job and you have a boss and a company to be accountable to, it's a lot easier to follow those instructions. It's a lot easier to execute that trade plan because that's your only job. Win or lose, that doesn't matter. Executing the plan as it's written, as it was taught to you, is all that matters. So you got to think about that. If you hired yourself to run your business, would you be forced to fire yourself? Now, businesses, as I said, are divided up into different responsibilities, right? So you need to think about your business as different things. Your trading business. There are different aspects of this that need to be approached as individual parts of the business. Okay, so naturally there's the boss, right? Boss oversees everything. Okay, the boss's job is kind of towards the end of the day. When everybody else has done their job, the boss then makes sure that everything is done correctly. Okay, so also in your business you have a lead trader. Okay, during trading hours, When you sit down in front of your computer, your only job is as the lead trader of your trading business. Okay? Not the time to study. This is time to try new things. This is not the time to make major changes or any changes in your trade plan. This is game time. And you have one job to do, just one, and that's execute the trade plan. That's it. No counting. That's a different department, right? The book does the counting. Later, after trading is done, the bookkeeper comes in and looks everything and does all the counting. All right? And of course, all of these are you, right? I'm not saying you go out and hire a bunch of people. But you need to, if you're going to make this work, you need to divide up the tasks involved in running a small business and approach them as this person each time you approach a task. Okay? Training. Okay, there's all kinds of training that has to take place. You need a training coordinator, somebody who designs the training, somebody who implements the training, somebody who does the training. Okay, you need an entire department that has nothing to do with the lead trader. It has nothing to do with the bookkeeper. It is totally about training. Okay, training the lead trader, but I mean to design it and set it up and then turn it over to the lead trader to practice these things, okay? To do the training, to do the studying. Records keeping, planning. All of these are different departments in your company, in your trading business that you need to put on. You need to have a hat for each one. You put them on, and you need to sit down at each, have time of the day where I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on this. And you can't have the bookkeeper doing the trading, right? You can't have the records keeper doing the training. You can't do that. You've got to have it all separated. That's one of the big problems we all have as traders is we try to do everything at once and we do it all in our head. And the next thing you know is all we're doing is thinking about the money, and it then into a big mess. You've got your bookkeeper being the lead trader of your business, where the bookkeeper really doesn't know what they're doing, right? The lead trader's job is to execute the trade plan, period. The bookkeeper thinks about numbers, right? So you've got to separate those two. Now, let's take another step here and let's be a business, right? Not just pretend. Now, I know you have to do, and some of this is an exercise in reframing and refocusing and approach to trading. Okay? And that's the whole idea about running the trading as a business. So we don't really want to pretend. Let's go the next step. Let's be a business. Okay? Instead of saying, yeah, well, okay, this is a fun little thing, but I'll do it when I have time. That's not really going to cut it. To all business people, you don't do things when you have time. You do things because you're determined that you're going to have a successful business, and you don't really have a choice for it not to be successful because you're all in, right? And one of the problems that we have now is that you might have another source of income. So you're hoping that your trading can replace that other source of income someday. Problem is you know that you have that other source of income, so trading now takes a back burner or your trading business because you know that other source of income is, right? Got to start getting your mind ready every day just like you do for work. You've got to actually show up, all right? So what I want you to do is start designing what it looks like to work at your company. All right? You've got to dedicate days and times that you're going to be at work. Okay? You've got to be at work. Get dressed as you would for a job. Get up in the morning. Do your morning routine. Get ready for work and sit down ready to do your job so that you could get up and work out and leave the house as soon as you're done with trading. And now the reason I say this is because if you roll out of bed and you sit down in your pajamas at the trading computer, in your mind, this is free time. You're still kind of doing this in your free time. You're still deciding, well, this is what I'm going to do before I start my day. Okay, that's not a job. You've got to get up and get dressed and show up to work, ready to work with your game faces on. All right? Don't allow distractions. All right? I'm sure that if you have another job or you've had another job or no profession, you go to work, you have a boss or somebody there that doesn't allow a whole lot of distractions. If you have a distraction, if you have something that's constantly distracting you during your trading, you got to ask yourself, would this be okay at work, at my job? Would this type of distraction be okay? I don't know, maybe you're trying to do this and get kids out ready for school, and also trade and try, because this is what you're considering free time, right? Would you do that with your other profession or any other profession that you've ever done? Make sure each department did their job, okay? At the end of the day, you've got to have a checklist and go through that check. Hey, did the lead trader do their job exactly as it? So then you're going to go through and you're going to go look at the trade analysis your lead trader did at the end of each trading day. You're going to say, okay, here's the trade analysis, here's the trades taken, here's the trades not taken. Why did that leader not take that trade? Where on the trade plan did it say that this criteria is in place that says don't take that trade? Yeah, Greg, I've been spying on you and everybody else because we all do the same thing, or at least have done it. Many of us here in sessions in the VIP and Einstein group have heard this before and have already started making some of these changes. So we don't. Many of us don't have these problems anymore, or at least are well on our way to fixing this by applying this stuff. So I know a lot of you have already come a long way in fixing some of these problems. So you're going to make sure each department did their job just like a boss would. And you're going to make department accountable. Okay? Meaning that, if they didn't do their job, why didn't they do their job? Okay? And what is it going to take? For example, yeah, I know I got a trade review, but I just finished trading. I'll do the trade review later tonight when I have time. If I have time, oh crap, I got to go to dinner tonight. I'll do it tomorrow morning. No, wait, I've got to take the kids to school. I'll do it. All right? Is that how you run a business? Is that if you do run a business that way, how long is that business going to be successful? All right, so let's make your business accountable. Your business accountable to you and your family. Right now, is your trading accountable for anything? Problem is remove ability. it all gets thrown out in the wind, right? Nothing really matters. Whatever you do in your trading, it doesn't really matter because there's nobody to hold you accountable for your decisions. There's nobody to hold the business accountable for its employees. So let's start making the business accountable to you and your family. Okay? How are we going to do that? All right, remember I said that I needed you to go set up your business business checking account last week? I hope you all have done that. You all have done that, right? Because you can't do this next step if you haven't done that. All right, so go set up, go get your business checking account, have it in front of you, and now I want you to sit down and I want you to make a list of your personal monthly bills. All right, this is personal, not business expenses. It's your personal monthly bills, and you're going to rank the list from your lowest bill to your largest monthly. All right, the smallest bill will be at the top. Mine was, when I did this exercise, mine was my water bill, which was about $30 a month. Okay? I think this was a long time ago. I think there's probably some smaller ones now. Now that there's streaming services and stuff like that. So you could take one of those. I don't know, how much is Netflix now? $10 a month or something? So if it's Netflix, take that as your smallest bill. Now, you're going to take that smallest bill from your list of personal bills, you're going to scratch it off, and you're going to add it to a list of business expenses. Okay? And that's going to be the only thing on that list. It is your lowest bill. Now, all you have to do each month is profit whatever that is. That is your goal for the month, is to profit the business, to profit enough to cover that one bill. So if it's Netflix, it's $10. That's it. Your responsibility is to have your trading business profit $10. Excuse me. As you continue that, as you do that for a couple of months, take the next smallest bill, scratch it off your personal monthly bills, add it to the business monthly bills, and do the same thing. And just continue this process. Next thing you know, and this is going to take a while, but this is how you're going to transition from having a full-time job or profession to being a full-time trader. This is how the transition is done. You're not going to just say okay, I'm now going to quit my job. I'm going to give up guaranteed income, give up the benefits. I'm going to give up everything all at once because I think and make this trading thing work. What you're actually going to do is do this, and then you say, my trading is already paying all of my personal bills. Maybe my job is costing me more to keep my job than to quit my job. Maybe it's time I start thinking about that. Okay? You're going to already have proven to yourself by making the business accountable to you and your family that the business is capable of supporting you. All right, so coming up next week, we got company policies and job descriptions, and we'll talk a little bit about record keeping and planning. All right, any other questions or any questions?